All right, so Ragnar the Danite here, right? Roll that R when you say it, Ragnar, right? I made a version of this video before, but it ended up getting split up into two parts because of technical nonsense. But I wanted to share this, and maybe I don't care if it catch on. I'm not trying to get people to call the Most High Odin, but remember we had different languages everywhere, and I wanted to show what the Most High revealed to me. Um, and it ties into the fact that this particular deity that was with the Norse was also synonymous with was it Quetzalcoatl, the so-called like the Great Spirit that they worship over here in the fourth part, right? And Big Judah, this is what it really hit me, and Big Judah tied it in. What Big Judah brought out about what the Gentiles are calling our sun religion, and the sun was just a parable. The sun gives all life on the planet, the plants, the animals. You get vitamins from it, you get nourished by it, and the Most High is preparing us to live in His light. The All Father is preparing us to live in His light, right? He's the God of light. He is the source, right? And I thought I should share this because they were talking about how Dan went and worshipped other gods. And I remember hearing like, man, yeah, the Danes are worshiping Odin and all that stuff. Yeah, well, like I said when I called him the Levi, the Danes came over to the fourth part before Columbus, and you were only able to get here except for the time that they were allowed over here when there were a portion of us who broke the commandments and they just killed everyone, is if you were following the Most High's laws. Now, what they don't tell you about the Vikings is that they wore fringes. They don't portray them wearing fringes in their films, nor do they portray them with looking like us. They lived in harmony with the earth. They did not hunt more than they needed to. Essentially, if you look at the shoes that they wore, they wore moccasin-like boots. Their culture was very similar to the natives. There's a similarity between their use of totems, which I don't really know what totems are used for, because they just wrote it. They just kind of labeled it idol worship, and then they bow in front of a cross. But they were not worshiping the damn totems. I'm just going to share this video, and if you're familiar with Kumero's videos, you're familiar with Big Judah's videos, it will make sense to you, and you'll be able to pick out what's needed. Now, this ain't to say, because there was a time when if you weren't calling on a higher, I wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't share I wouldn't share Big Judah's videos with people because I thought that he was using the wrong name. This is what they did. They taught us that the devil has many names. But if you know that the Most High resembles what the world would consider a black man, and we're like our Father, even when we are not doing right, we still have a lot of personality traits of our Father. Niggas have a lot of names. Niggas have AKAs that don't even make sense. Was it DJ K Slay? One of his AKAs was slap you bitch ass niggas in the mouth. Hey, that's your AKA? Whatever. So, why would it be such a stretch that the Most High would be called by different titles, which we know, and different names, especially if all the children of Israel in different continents, different nations, different tribes are using different languages throughout history? So I'm going to share this, and I'm going to stop talking.
Odin is a mysterious wisdom bringer and god of the Norse and Germanic people. But in this video, I'll explain why I think he is so much more and is a key in understanding our ancient past and the religion of the sun. I believe that...
Boom, right there, the religion of the sun. Big Judah brought that out, right? And it's not even their past. So immediately, and I'll give you the story of how I fell upon this information when this is done.
Odin was a real historical person that became mythologized over many thousands of years. and that he may actually be one of the great wisdom bringers who reinitiated civilization and taught the religion of the sun in different parts of the world following the catastrophe at the end of the last ice age around 9500 BC. The origins of Odin are unknown, but one thing is for sure, they are very ancient. One theory suggests that he was originally an Indo-European deity that spread with the diffusion of Indo-European culture, religion and language into Europe, including into Germany and Scandinavia many thousands of years ago. To understand Odin, we don't need to just confine ourselves to Europe though, as there exist legends of similar wisdom bringers just like Odin in many different cultures, like in Egypt and in Central and South America. Each of the legends from these seemingly unrelated places record that following a great natural cataclysm, a wisdom bringer arrived, accompanied by a number of disciples and helpers, to teach the local population the basics of civilization, such as agriculture, writing, building, and even how to live together as husband and wife, giving them laws to live by, an understanding of ethics, and also importantly, teaching them spirituality. The spiritual teaching these wisdom bringers gave also shares many similarities, as it was the same religion, the religion of the sun. Odin is known by the name of Wotan in German. Incredibly, this same name is given to the wisdom bringer in Central America, where he was also called Wotan. Throughout Central and South America, there are similar local legends that record the arrival of a wisdom bringer from a far foreign land across the ocean. In one legend, he is described as coming from a land far east, which would place his origins from the direction of Europe and Africa, and he is described as being Caucasian in appearance. Throughout
Horseshit.
Central and South America, they give a wisdom bringer with the same appearance, different name.
Do you see how in her spirit she had to point that out? Like all the pictures you're using are of Caucasians, but they need to point that out. She knows what the deal is.
Each according to their local language. But again, the descriptions share many similarities. To the Inca people of Peru, their wisdom bringer was called Viracocha, and both Odin and Viracocha are described as wanderers. In Norse legend, Odin was said to go away on long journeys. It sounds like Odin was called a wanderer because he wandered and travelled the world teaching civilization and the religion of the sun. Odin or Wotan was said to have imparted the knowledge of writing to the peoples of Scandinavia. The alphabet he taught was called runes, and each letter is believed to have a significance. Likewise, Wotan in South America is also credited with bringing the people there the language of hieroglyphic signs, and there are even stones in South America that were carved with runes in ancient times. Even the descriptions of Odin's appearance are similar to those of Viracocha and Wotan in Central and South America. Both describe him as a man with fair skin and beard, wearing a long robe and as holding a staff. For those who are familiar with the Lord of the Rings series by Tolkien, the character of Gandalf is based on Odin. Another name a wisdom bringer sharing the same characteristics was known by in Central America was Kukulkan, meaning feathered serpent. Again, this name shares similarities with the name of another legendary figure in Europe called Cuchulainn, but this time from Ireland. These wisdom bringers are described as dressing in a very similar way to the ancient Druids, and it seems very likely that the dress of the Druids and their religion of the sun was inherited from the teachings of this or these same wisdom bringers that travelled the world. But very importantly, Odin, Wotan, Viracocha, Kukulkan, and Cuchulainn are all connected to the religion of the sun. In Norse mythology, Odin's symbol is a solar cross, and he is celebrated at the winter solstice. The legendary Cuchulainn of Ireland was said to be a descendant of the sun, just as Viracocha and Wotan were in South America. Wotan, Viracocha, and Kukulkan were said to have established many of the ancient megaliths and step pyramids that are aligned to the sun, the solstices and equinoxes in Central and South America, and pyramids with the same design and alignments can be found in many other parts of the world, including Egypt. Which brings us to yet another legendary wisdom bringer, this time in Egypt where he was called Osiris. Here is a quote from the eminent Egyptologist E.A. Wallace Budge on Osiris. Quote, "He taught them how to till the earth and how to sow and reap crops. He formulated a code of laws for them and made them to worship the gods and perform service to them. He then left Egypt and travelled over the rest of the world, teaching the various nations to do what his own subjects were doing. He forced no man to carry out his instructions, but by means of gentle persuasion and an appeal to their reason, he succeeded in inducing them to practice what he preached. End quote. So according to this, a sign of the sun. Could we be talking about Egypt and then left to travel the rest of the world, wandering from place to place like Odin and Viracocha, teaching civilization and the religion of the sun? Could we be talking about the same person here, or perhaps different people from the same group? In some of the oldest Egyptian, Vedic and Mesopotamian legends, a group of 7 sages are recorded as sailing out in boats to reinitiate civilization after a great catastrophe. Now here's another quote from the mysterious text called the Cauldron, which is said to contain ancient records of Egypt that were smuggled out of Egypt during a time when spiritual knowledge was being persecuted there and taken for safekeeping to the heartland of the Druids in Wales. Here's the quote. In this fertile black land, which is Egypt, there are those who worship the sun, and they call it the greatest and most bountiful among all gods, the seer of heaven, the orb of glory. They tell many tales about the coming of the sun people and of the land from whence they came. They also tell of the squalid manner in which
Sun people, children of the light. And continue.
men dwelt before the golden one, which in this case is referring to a man called Usira, and elsewhere Yosira, which sounds a lot like Osiris, led his people hence. The servant of the sun, which is Usira, Osiris, brought the people together and put rulers over them. He showed them, man and woman, how to dwell together in contentment as husband and wife. He instructed them in the sowing of corn and in the growing of herbs, etc. Then when he departed, he bade the people not to weep, for though he went to his father, the sun would adopt them as his children, and all could become sons of the sun. Thus many became sons and servants of the sun, and they believed what they had heard, that the sun was their father, and the light of goodness overlooking the whole land. It is this light that sustains all living things, but within it is the greater light which sustains the spirit. It is the light that enlightens the hearts of men.
Okay, so while she's going on her philosophy tour, right? The sun is symbolic to teach us how the Most High sustains and provides for us. He is our light.
The sun, revering the sun, and a child of the sun, just as Osiris did in Egypt. And just like the Egyptians, the Inca of South America also referred to themselves as children of the sun, revering the sun as their father. On Easter Island, which is a remote island off the coast of South America, there are numerous huge stone statues called moai. These statues are actually all carved in the likeness of Viracocha, and many are aligned to the sun on the solstices and equinoxes.
Okay, so if that's the likeness of Viracocha, right?
These statues are actually all...
Since when you crackers got big wide noses like this? Get the fuck out of here. So anyway, I thought I'd let that part play. I don't give a shit. I don't have any respect for these people. You took my creator from me and gave me a god that don't even exist. Okay? So I wanted to share that because think about this. The Vikings became less aggressive, less manly when they were forced to convert to Christianity. Look, let's just put it bluntly here, okay? And I'm not here to bite my tongue to make you feel comfortable because the white man told you there was such thing as bad words and you want to prick your ears because, you go to the bathroom and shit don't come out your ass, okay? This idea, let's put it plainly here. That's my point I was gonna make. Christianity is a religion that produces bitch ass niggas. Point blank. It produces bitch ass niggas. There's no way our ancestors would see what they did. They did this in America, the ancient America. They did this in Norway. They did this in England. They paid off our kings, our leaders that made us to go astray, right? And they put the women over us, just like the scripture said, and they led astray, right? This is why the woman has a position, the man has a position. Nature is created a certain way for a reason. Biology is a certain way for a reason. They flipped everything on their head, right? They gave us this emasculated religion of this emasculated God. Like this white man sat down and let a bunch of white men beat the hell out of him. That, are you kidding me? Just so they could come and enslave you. I mean, there's no way our ancestors would have let some people come and just do the things that they did. And oh, you killed my sister, but I mean, you killed my brother, but I'm going to hug you in the courtroom and say, I want the best for you. And like she was worried about her job when he was dying. No CPR. So this is the religion that they gave. Like the Christians were never persecuting. They were the persecutors. Those ancient cultures, when we were following the creator, the Norse were following the creator. Us over here in America, for the most part, they were supposed to come over here and kill the wicked. What did those wicked some bitches do? They came over here and killed the righteous, and they got in league with the wicked to take out the ones who were keeping the Most High's laws, who were living in accordance with nature and not abusing the land and not putting unclean things in their body and were civil. This is what they came and did. And every place where the true doctrine of light was being taught, they put in Christianity. And now they want to cry, oh, we're dropping by 12%, blah, 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 blah. These are the most wicked people. Like literally, when I tell you the Most High has revealed things to me that I cannot even reveal at this moment. The All-Father has shown me so many things. Like they'll tell you, oh, saying shit, ass. Oh, you speak like that. It's ungodly. You're gonna go to hell for doing this. You're gonna go to hell. Christians will tell you, oh man, damn it.